Look who's back with us, Congresswoman Cammack from House Small Business and former Trump economic advisor Steve Moore. The whole Inflation Reduction Act is a hypothetical. I don't know what the White House press secretary is talking about. Congresswoman, we like your reaction to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen adding to the chaos on White House messaging on inflation. Watch this.
I think we'll see a substantial reduction in inflation in the year ahead.
It's going to take a year.
Well, I believe by the end of next year, you will see much lower inflation if there's not an unanticipated shock.
It's going to take time to get inflation back to normal levels as we keep our job market resilient. We could see setbacks along the way, to state the obvious.
Transitory.
That never gets old. Congresswoman, do you believe this new messaging? We have to wait until next year?
Oh my gosh, absolutely not. We know what the cause that is driving this inflation, and it's the out of control spending. Look, you don't spend $10 trillion in 2 years and not expect to have 8-9% inflation. Today, over $16 billion is owed by American families just for utilities. They're not worried about Christmas. They're worried about making rent. They're worried about groceries. They're worrying about putting gas in their car. And here we are yet again, where people are going to be seeing higher rates. If you have a variable rate on your mortgage or your car loan or your credit card, which so many Americans have exorbitant credit card debt right now, you are going to be paying a price. And that is because of the Biden regime. They don't want to deal with inflation. They want to kick the can down the road. They're not fixing it. They're contributing to it.
You know, to what the Congresswoman is saying, we may be seeing rates, Steve, heading above 6%. Who knows? Both inflation and Fed rate hikes, it's a double whammy on consumers. It's suppressing consumer spending, which is 2/3 of the economy. I mean, rates have been quadrupling since the beginning of the year. Steve, so where do you see? I mean, we keep hearing the way to stop inflation and boost the economy is let U.S. energy rip. Unleash U.S. energy. It saved the Obama White House from a recession after the financial collapse of 2008. What do you think, Steve, about all this?
First of all, I put no trust in Janet Yellen's statement that they think inflation is going down next year because, as you just pointed out, Liz, they've been wrong for the last 18 to 20 months. Prices are up 15% now since Biden came into office. That's just a massive tax on the middle class. And the Congresswoman is exactly right that you can trace that back to the massive spending bills that happened in Biden's first 2 years. Now, where are we headed? I still think we can have a soft landing, Liz, especially if the Congresswoman can persuade her colleagues to start really taking a chainsaw to that budget and cutting out some of that excessive spending. But you're also right that when those interest rates go up, look what's happening to the mortgage market right now, with mortgages now at 6.5% to 7% when they were less than 3% under Trump. That adds to the cost of selling a house. It adds to the cost of buying a house. It's hurting that market. So we will see. But right now, I don't have a lot. I think we're going to see inflation of about 5 or 6% next year. But Liz, the target is 3%. So they're still way above where we could be.
To what Steve is saying, Congresswoman, everybody saw this coming, like, a million elephants marching down the road, big government stepping in and messing up the Trump economy. Biden inherited a V-shaped economy coming out of pandemic shutdowns. This is true government incompetence. So what is the House? I know you guys can't do a lot. I mean, now you got taxpayers having to report to the IRS on 1099 forms. There's $600 transactions on phone apps like Venmo, PayPal, and Zelle. That's going to sweep up millions of Americans who don't know that they have to file 1099s. I mean, 1 in 4, they make extra money on the side by selling something on the internet using these phone apps. So, it's like you get in bed with a government, it feels warm and comfortable, but then it's like a hippopotamus rolling over and crushing you.
Listen, I am the first one to say you need to keep your government small so you can keep your dreams big. A big government is the ultimate killer of the American dream. So what we have to do in the GOP is immediately fire the 87,000 IRS agents that were designed to increase the audits on working class Americans. We got to get government out of the way. I am the sponsor and will be re-sponsoring the REINS Act, which it's not exactly the sexiest topic in the world, Liz, but it reigns in the regulatory environment that is costing trillions trillions of dollars. That is going to actually put some pressure on these unelected bureaucrats in Washington who contribute to the cost of goods and services across the board through the regulatory administrative state. That's one way we can exert our authority, and we have it on good word that that bill will be brought up and passed out of the House. So that's one way that we can do it. But by and large, until we reduce the spending, get government out of the way, American prosperity and innovation can't take root. We have to get government out of the way.
You know, but and then you got this, Steve. Senator Bernie Sanders, AOC, the Squad. They're wrongfully bullying Senator Kyrsten Sinema for leaving the Democrat Party to become independent. The oh-so-tolerant, intolerant left, because it undercuts the Democrats on Senator Warnock's victory. Watch this.
Does she have the guts to take on powerful special interests?
No, she doesn't. She is a corporate Democrat who has, in fact, along with Senator Manchin, sabotaged enormously important legislation.
What is the senator talking about? Senator Sinema, what is he talking? I mean, Sinema has voted with Biden's agenda 93% of the time. She voted for the Inflation Reduction Act. She voted for gun laws. She doesn't want to get rid of the Senate filibuster. That's what he's mad about. They want to bully through more tax hikes and more government blowout spending on just a 51 party line vote. That's what Bernie Sanders is mad about when we've had that, filibuster in there for generations, Steve.
So you're so right about this. It shows how left-wing the Democratic Party has become, that someone who votes 93% of the time with Joe Biden is somehow way too conservative for the modern-day Democrats. Look, I've been in this town of Washington, D.C. for 35 years. When I first came to town, there were people like Sam Nunn, there were people like Dick Gephardt, there were, so many Democrats that really were moderate Democrats who believed in balancing the budget, who believed in welfare reform, who believed in free trade. And now you can't count on one finger the number of Democrats, and you've got a situation now where Kyrsten Sinema, who's maybe a little bit to the right of where the party is, they basically booted her out of the party.
They're bullying her. They bullied her. They stalked her in airports. They stalked her into her bathroom. They continued to bully Senator Sinema. Final word.
Yeah.
Steve, go ahead. Final word.
You're exactly right. I mean, this is a party that has basically been taken over by the radical left.
Okay.
And it's one reason that you got to defeat the Democrats in 2024, because 4 more years of this would be ruinous. You're so right, by the way. Turn on the spigots on energy is the single most important thing to get our economy moving.
There you go. Congresswoman Cammack and Steve Moore, pleasure having you both on. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to the two of you. It's good to see you both.